السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب رب العالمين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وعلى صحبه وعلى من اتبعهم بهدى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا منهم واجعلنا معهم واجمعنا بهم يوم القيامة ويوم الفردوس الأعلى جميعا إن شاء الله من غير سابقة عذاب ولا حساب آمين. أما بعد, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen that Allah Azza wa Jal have chosen us in this masjid, and all the masajid are great to serve the Muslimin. Part of this service, it's growing in a very difficult way, which is the social service, and how much we try to help the Muslim family in the West to get together, to raise their children healthy. The more we try to help, the more we find it's so difficult and we don't have enough means. So a lot of my brothers and sisters and a lot of the active people have started educating the families on what lacks, what we should do to be able to raise a healthy family. And I titled my khutbah today and many other khutab available in this great masjid on YouTube, on Facebook, on the channels of Brother Naeem Banat, and the channel of Dr. Amjad Khorsha. Please go back and see. A lot of it talks about the family and children and the relationship between the husband and wife. And I personally like this topic a lot and cannot have enough of it. And every time we try to tackle a side of it, because mashallah, this topic, it's a lifetime topic. So today's title is وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, which is from the Quran Kareem. How to teach our children to become good to their parents. And I'm not going to list, which everybody knows here, what exactly we should do to become barreen, to become good, to become righteous Muslims towards our parents. We know it. So I'm tackling it from an opposite way, which means how to take care of our children from one aspect that a lot of us, if not most of us, and maybe even most of the world, are not paying so much attention to. That aspect in raising our children, which will help us get the result of وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. So they can be good to their parents, they can be good to their elder ones. And I've read a beautiful statement that said by Aisha radiallahu anha, the beloved wife of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In Arabic I'll say it and then in English inshallah. قالت عائشة رضي الله عنها: كان أول ما أنزل من القرآن الكلام عن الجنة والنار والإيمان بالله تعالى حتى استقر الإيمان في النفوس نزلت بعد ذلك الشرائع. وقالت: ولو كان أول ما أنزل الشرائع لكان أكثر الناس لا يطيع. The English summary of the beautiful words of our beloved mother Aisha radiallahu anha. She said radiallahu anha that the first verses and surah and teachings from the Quran al-Kareem that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have taught us was about Iman, strengthening our Iman, and about the reward of that Iman, which is Al-Jannah, Al-Firdaus Al-A'la, the beautiful life after death, inshallah, for those who pass the test. And of course, it was also including what will happen to those who do not pass the test and who neglect the orders of Allah Azza wa Jal and who do not want to become among the mu'mins and Muslims. So this is, and then she said, and if Muhammad ﷺ have started saying to the Muslims what to do and not to do, pray, fast, don't drink alcohol, don't do this, do that, a lot of laws and regulations and shara'a, she said most of people wouldn't follow. But because Muhammad ﷺ, Jazahullahu anna wa anil ummatu kulla khair, he started, of course, with the guidance of Allah to strengthen the Iman, to clean the soul, clean the psychological, the social aspect, the mental aspects of people. That's what is the core of human beings. Their mental, their social, their intellectual, their psychological, the mental, the intellectual, all of those meanings that they're not physical, they're not directly physical things. Muhammad ﷺ took care of it with the Sahaba, strengthened their Iman. And then when Allah Azza wa Jalla guided Muhammad ﷺ that yes, now it's the right time to tell them what they should do as Muslims and what they should not do as Muslims, and how much they and what obligations they have to carry on their shoulders and convey the message of Allah to the whole world. They were ready, no hesitant. Now, taking this analogy and copy it to how we raise our children, so they become barrin. Most of parents, including myself, concentrate on the physical aspect, not the mental aspect, not the psychological aspect, not the intellectual, not the social. Very little of that could be tackled, but mostly, I want you to become the best student. I want you to become the best abid. I want you to become the best son. I want you to be clean. I want you to be a sportsman. I want you to be active. These are all great. But is my son, are our kids ready to comply, to listen, to participate? Let's see one of the best teachers of family-related issues that I have got across with Dr. Yaser Abotaha from Kuwait. And mashallah, now you can also read about his books and teachings in English as well, but he started in Arabic. Mashallah, I have learned from Dr. Yaser Abotaha since I was a teenager. After university, specifically in early 1990s, he was, mashallah, all over the place in the Gulf area. And it's sometimes, most of the time we tell people, we tell ourselves what to do. But sometimes it's easier to tell ourselves what not to do. Because most of us know what to do, but at the same time, if you do things that are wrong, it corrupts, it makes us fail, even if we put good effort in what we should do. So I've get across 20. I'll try to cover as much as the time permits, which is around 5 minutes left. 20 of those advices from Dr. Yaser Abotaha in raising our children, not in what the physical aspect, the education, the salah. It's mostly in the mental, in the relationship, in the psychological, in this, which is similar to what Muhammad ﷺ made his Sahaba strengthen their iman and their well-being from inside before you ask them to act upon it. And inshallah, I'll say a few of those 20 after the break. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يا فوز المستغفرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين أما بعد. The time runs, subhanallah. Now, again, we all fall into this. It's okay to know that what are we missing on, but it's not okay not to change it, and it's never late, even if your children are in the university already or married, even if they are babies, even if you don't have a children. Now, number one, al-ghadab, anger. Sheikh Yaser Abotaha have concentrated here on their relationship and how we deal or treat our kids, and what are the positive or negative impact of each thing that we do wrong. Anger. We are stressed. Not only us, the whole world is stressed. Number one cause of suicide in the whole world is stress. Number one cause of heart attack and sudden death is stress. Number one cause of car accidents is alcohol and stress. And what is the first sign of stress? You're angry, you're unhappy, you're frustrated. And as a father or a mother, at home, angry and frustrated, you have to be aware that you are indirectly damaging all the great things that you're trying to implant in your children. The anger by itself, I can talk about it forever. But قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تغضب ولك الجنة, to one of the companions who came and said, please give me one piece of advice that will take me to Jannah, that will solve all my problems. A Bedouin came and he told him لا تغضب ولك الجنة in a hadith. And the one of the many bad impacts that being an angry person at home once in a day or twice a day or every now and then, you're only teaching and spreading anger and frustration around you. Be aware. 2. الاستهتار بالمشاعر, neglecting their feelings. Most of us, including myself, tend to look at my child when he's complaining or he's reacting or as is, really? Just that? Like you made all of this noise just because your sister did this to you, or just because the school? This is a killer. If you are looking at them in a way that they know nothing, that their feelings doesn't matter to you, you don't mean it, but that's what's going on. We are not watching our behavior with our children when it comes to the mental and psychological and sociological aspect. Maybe we didn't learn to do that. Please, it's not late. This is a killer. That will make him a weak person. That will make him he will learn from you not to pay attention to the feelings of others. You have to go down and listen and make him understand that, yes, I know where you're coming from. I feel what you're feeling. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's solve the issue one by one. This, you gain his trust. You're going to get him to, you can go to his word. Tajassus, watching them 24/7, looking at them, in a way that you're expecting always too much mistakes. We know that they make a lot of mistakes. And we know that when we were their age, we did even more. But we don't remember. We remember our accomplishment. Alhamdulillah, when I was your age, mashallah, I was the best in class. I was here. Okay, you know what? Ask your father. Go home and ask your father and mother what were your shortcomings. And maybe because of the love, your father, your old or mother and father might forgot all the shortcomings that you've done. This is how parents are. But no. Keeping on watching him on his back, like I've speak to kids here a lot. We have a lot of sessions and things with kids. They tell me, when I see my father, I look at me, is there something wrong with me? Like, because he looks at an eye that it's like a camera watching you and watch out. This is what our attitude most of the time. And that is another killer of the relationship. And it leads to what? A big problem, which is انعدام الثقة, no trust. He will not trust me anymore. He will not come back to me. He or she will not open their hearts to me. The time is run, subhanAllah. الضرب, hitting, beating. We all know that, alhamdulillah, not because in the Western countries or the government doesn't allow us to hit our kids. We cannot hit our kids by Allah Azza wa Jal. The darb, the beating. And how do we know that? From the teachings of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from his life. This is, I always tell myself and others, the time that you use your hand with anyone who is weaker than you, of course, I dare you and I dare myself to do it with someone who is stronger. That means that we have neglected all our intellectual, or our patience, or our aql, and we became physically uncontrolled. And what are we getting from there? You know already what that, the least we're getting is that our child, even if it is a small thing, your hands, keep them for yourself. This is not, it was never and it will never be. Don't tell me, don't tell yourself, when I was a kid, my father used to do this and that, alhamdulillah, it worked. Who said that you and me are 100% mentally healthy? We are not. Alhamdulillah that people don't see what's inside. But if you go make an evaluation for yourself with anyone who is a specialist, you'll find there are everything bad happened before did have an impact on us one way or another. But Allah Azza wa Jal Al-Hami, He is the one who protects us from having more problems. التدخل الدائم. Too much involvement, like, why do you eat like this? Sit like that, wear this, talk like this. We have to tell them what to do. But too much of this, because we love them, we want them to be better, that creates what? A weak child. A child who is so dependent. A child who doesn't trust himself. A child who cannot take a decision. Again, we're talking about the mental, psychological, behavioral, social aspect. I'll try to end with 1 or 2 points. الاهتمام المبالغ فيه, over protection, over love, over giving. I know personally parents like that. And actually there's so many. They don't want anything wrong to happen to the child. They're overprotective. They don't want her or him to cry. They cannot say no. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. The impact of this type of attention is overwhelming, is huge. You're creating something not only weak, but a controlling person. He thinks you work for them. And if one time you fail to supply him or her with what they want, or be attentive, they will treat you bad. So that's another big deal problem. And I'll end with one. There's a lot very important ones. الانتقاد الدائم. Too much criticism. You can criticize, but you have to be more gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. Show them that you appreciate what they do more than you show them what you don't like. Please, I mean, we don't have to go in details. We're all here educated enough to understand the title and know what does it mean. When even things that very small, mashallah, like you've washed your face. No, I have someone so close to me told me that, how do you want me to say something good for something so basic? They need to wash themselves. They have to, every time he brushes his teeth, I have to thank him. Please do so. Yes, every time he brushes his teeth, tell him this is something good he does. Because this gives you a room, a credit to criticize somewhere else. But if you're always criticizing and you're not telling him thank you for what he did, you don't have credit to use, right? And I'll finish with this dua. Please. We say always that dua is important. Whatever you do, to have, mashallah, a child or a daughter, a son who we want them to be righteous, it's not enough without the help of Allah Azza wa Jal. And do not feel bad if the result did not come the way you want. It's okay. Allah, alhamdulillah, the best thing, one of the best things about Islam, that Allah will deal with us in our intentions and our work, not the results. You can work day and night, but Allah Azza wa Jal, for a reason He knows, for a hikmah He knows, wanted to test you with a result that you might think from the beginning it's wrong. Allah knows what's better later. So make a lot of dua for them, give them enough time. You will never be able to influence your children if you're too busy. You have to give some time. And I'll end up with one word, that mental health, social health, intellectual, behavioral health, psychological, they're all very important, and more important than eat healthy food, play safe, get good grades, do the salah on time. Because if you take care of that thing, like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Aisha radiallahu anha said in the beginning, increasing the iman, the belief, and the aspect inside, the rest will be so easy. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا واهدنا واهدي بنا واجعلنا هداة مهديين. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اغفر لنا تقصيرنا. اللهم احمي أولادنا. اللهم احمي أولادنا. اللهم أعنا على تربية أولادنا وعلى تربية أنفسنا. اللهم اجعلهم بارين بنا واجعلنا بارين بآبائنا وأمهاتنا واجعلنا هداة مهديين. اللهم احشرنا مع الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في الفردوس الأعلى من غير سابقة عذاب ولا حساب. اللهم اجعلنا لحبيبنا المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم جيرانا وأحبابا، ولسنته متبعين مقتدين، حامين وناشرين على مستوى العالم. آمين يا رب العالمين. أقول قولي هذا وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واستووا يرحمني ويرحمكم الله. حاذوا بين المناكب والأقدام. Even if you have a distance, keep straight line as much as possible. Pray looking at the spot of your sujood. Make dua for yourself, for your children, for the whole ummah. استووا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Brothers, please make dua for the father of Brother Hamid, a friend of